Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Channeling Hallmark. I am joined by my amazing wife and co-host, Keaton Markey.
Wow. Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Keaton Markey. I'm happy to be here channeling Hallmark here with my husband today.
And I'm Dylan Cashbaugh. And in case it's not obvious from the title, Channeling Hallmark, Keaton, what is Channeling Hallmark?
Channeling Hallmark, it's just kind of an everyday way of life, and it's trying to focus on the things that give you that same feeling watching a warm and fuzzy Hallmark movie or rom-com, anything like that, like just the things that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. And that's kind of what channeling Hallmark. The world is in a really weird place right now. And I think we could all feel a little bit better if we channeled Hallmark a little bit more.
I agree.
Do you have anything to add?
No, that was perfect.
Was that perfect?
I want to channel Hallmark right now. So Channeling Hallmark, it's a podcast that we're going to put out every week. You'll get to know us. You'll get to know a little bit more about it. But one of the things that we're going to do every week is discuss our weekly hot cocoa. Our hot cocoa is something that we have recently learned about or that happened in the news or just something that we came across this week.
It's our hot cocoa moment.
Yeah, it's your weekly hot cocoa. We don't want to spill the tea. We want to sip the hot cocoa.
Oh, wow. I really like, even though we're both currently, Dylan made some hot tea.
That's
for
true,
us
we are
before
drinking
we started
tea.
Recording. But I mean, hopefully because, we hope to do some fun interviews in future podcasts, and maybe we'll get some of our amazing guests that we have lined up to spill some tea, but all under the warm and fuzzy sweetness of hot cocoa. So do you have a hot cocoa moment of the week, Dylan, that you want to share with us?
I do. So my hot cocoa this week is a little something that I learned about called the Nikon Comedy Wildlife Photos. I don't know if you saw these at all.
Oh,
apparently this
gosh.
is a contest, a photo contest, and it's literally just wildlife photography that is funny and goofy. And what it is a bunch of adorable animal photos. Apparently it's been going on since 2015, but I just learned about it this year. So maybe this is one of those things that everyone else is very aware of, and I'm very late to the party, but I'm so happy that I am at the party at all because it is a delightful party. Because these photos are great.
Do they have an Instagram that we can see these photos on, or?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I found it on the internet, and then I looked at Nikon's website. But if you just search,
we'll share it on the Channeling Hallmark Instagram.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can. We
and in
will
the show
share
notes
it,
of the podcast.
Yeah, we will share it on our Channeling Hallmark Instagram. So if you want to check out Dylan's hot cocoa moment of the week, you can just follow us on Instagram at Channeling Hallmark. You want to know my hot cocoa moment?
I would love to know your hot cocoa.
So mine is more of like just a time of year. It's less about like an actual thing. Mine is all these Christmas parties and events. I feel like it's not until the holiday season that people actually stop being LA flakes or being like, I'm too tired. Like, I'm only going to do one event like a weekend. And maybe it's just us. I don't know. But we have been going to a lot of different holiday events and celebrations and finding a lovely excuse to dress up in fun and festive outfits. Me actually putting makeup on and doing my hair, which I do enjoy sometimes. But it's just been, and just seeing people and catching up. And that's kind of been my hot cocoa. I feel like over the last week, we have gone to so many holiday events or parties. And we are grandma, grandpa, like we like to stay home. We're homebodies. So when we go out, that's a big deal. And we went out almost every day. I feel like this past week, and we have more exciting events coming up. And it just is making me feel really warm and fuzzy inside. And most of these events, they have delicious treats, so also sweet.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I like about that hot cocoa is that at some of those, you get to actually drink hot cocoa.
Yes, you do.
And I love me some hot cocoa.
Yeah, sometimes it's spiked. So just be careful about the hot cocoa that you're accepting at party festive events.
That's true, especially when you make it, because you do
Oh,
make
I
it strong.
forgot that I did. Yeah, I put more whiskey and stuff than probably is needed, but you still enjoyed that hot cocoa, didn't you?
I did. I mean, it's still hot cocoa.
Okay, well, I think you had a lovely hot cocoa moment, and maybe we'll share some photos from some of our fun events on Channeling Hallmark Instagram page
It's
as
all
well.
about the Insta.
I just want to drive people to it. Come follow us. We have 0 followers, and we don't have any posts yet, but we will have lots of posts, and we'll be easy to communicate with over our Instagram.
Next up, we are going to get to another thing that we're going to do every week, and that is review a movie that may be a Hallmark movie, maybe just be a movie that's kind of the same vibes as Hallmark. It's going to be from whatever source it is, and we'll just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's regardless of whether it's actually a Hallmark movie, a Netflix movie, a Disney movie, it's going to be a film that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. And it might be contentious because I think we're going to probably take some turns picking some of these movies, and there might be some that don't give both of us warm and fuzzy feelings, but that's called marriage. So we will negotiate. But what are we going to be reviewing this week?
So this week, we watched the spoiler alert, delightful film Hot Frosty on Netflix. Hot Frosty is 2 years after her husband's death, and thanks to the help of a magic scarf, Kathy magically brings a snowman to life, and he's handsome. Through his optimism and innocence, the snowman helps Kathy to laugh, feel, and love again just in time for the holidays. Directed by Jerry Cicciariti and starring Lacey Chabert and Dustin Milligan, this movie takes the classic story of Frosty the Snowman coming to life, but with a key twist. He's hot. So, to kick things off, Keaton, does this feel like it's just another take on a Christmas story you've heard before? Or do Milligan's joy and Chabert's subtle grief come together to make you feel the Christmas magic in a new way?
Did you write that?
Most of it.
Oh my God. I was like, at first I thought you were just reading like the description of like the film on like Wikipedia, and then it started becoming more personal, and I was like, oh my, wait, I think you might have wrote this.
Full disclosure, the beginning part of it was at least somewhat written by Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. No, I appreciate that. But now I know that if I'm going to have to write these in the future, I just have to
Oh, they better be good.
Oh God.
Yeah, I set the bar high.
He did. Yes, I had so much fun. First of all, we've watched this movie 3 times. We watched it on our anniversary trip. I was very tired because we had been scuba diving, so I kind of fell asleep, and Dylan was like, you have to watch this again. It was that delightful. And then we watched it again, and he was not wrong. It was that delightful. And then we watched it again today just to kind of like freshen before we recorded this. But it had all the things you want in a Hallmark-esque or warm and fuzzy rom-com. The ridiculousness, the sweetness, the chemistry, the awkwardness, all like the fun little nuances, and also kind of called back to, holiday favorites like Jack Frost starring Michael Keaton.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes. They had a lot of kind of little Pretty Woman.
Not a Christmas movie, I don't
Not
think.
a Christmas movie, but still like a rom-com warm and fuzzy movie, even though I know it's prostitute, but like it's fine. We're going to move past that. But anyways, some people get angry with Pretty Woman, but I love Pretty Woman. So to me, it's top tier rom-com. It had all those, and it didn't take itself too seriously. And I think that's something Lacey Chabert specifically is really good at. And I think that's why she has made kind of this genre of Hallmark movies take off and kind of have so many people coming back, not just around Christmas, but also throughout the year, no matter the theme you smack on it, because she is so endearing, and she doesn't take herself too seriously, but yet she commits to what the role is and what the script is. And I don't know if that makes sense, but I love Lacey Chabert, and I thought she was adorable in this.
Yeah, I mean, she really does have a way of like making what honestly oftentimes are kind of campy, kind of silly stories, dialogue, situations, and just making them feel real and
Yeah.
authentic, and
She's
you can
very
relate.
yeah, she was very much the straight man in this, in which she usually plays that role,
Mhm.
unless she's Gretchen Wieners, which all hail Gretchen Wieners. And we did actually in this movie get a delightful little cameo and hilarious line from Lacey being like, "Oh my God, I think I went to high school with that girl," when there was a TV on and the Christmas movie that Lindsay Lohan was in for Netflix last year was on the screen. I think it was Falling for Christmas is what it was called.
I think
Um,
that's right.
yeah, with Cord Overstreet, and also very delightful. Maybe we will review that in the future. But I just, again, it's that kind of self awareness, and like, why not use that? Why not like throw on a Netflix canon
Mhm.
movie and make a Mean Girls reference? But yeah, I thought she was so delightful, and I think her and Dustin had very good chemistry, even though he was so ridiculous in the best way.
Yeah, and I mean, anyone who may be familiar with the TV show Schitt's Creek may recognize him as Ted the veterinarian. But he is still like a very friendly, happy person, like he was in that. But he takes it a little bit further, I would say.
I would say he takes it a lot further, especially with his exercise and diet. That man did not have an ounce of body fat on him, and I don't think he ate any carbs while filming this.
Yeah.
I hope he's indulging as much as he can with the success of this film, after he had such muscles for so many muscles.
And but that's the thing. Like, yes, kudos to the physical commitment that he had, but also like he had a great performance. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like he had this kind of in many ways unrelatable character of like like has been born that day, basically came into life as a snowman, and it was fun. It was charming. You wanted the bet, like you wanted his goals to come true. You wanted all the magic to happen, and he pulled that off, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah. They had him sweating a lot, so he was often just
Yes.
glistening as if rubbed down with oil. Just like and like wet. Like, I hate the word that, but we can cut that part out. But yeah.
I think it's hard to talk about this movie without acknowledging, at least somewhat, that it was a tough task, especially for Dustin and Lacey, because if you think about it, the mind of Jack the snowman is sort of like the mind of like a child.
Yep.
So he might, be very childlike in many ways. And I think that was a tricky thing to navigate from tone and performances. And I think they were able to pull it off where it didn't feel as creepy, I guess, as it could have. So I respect them a lot for navigating that well. And I guess that's a testament to Jerry Chichariti. If I'm saying that right.
No, and I think too, like, it was such a there were a lot of plot holes, because it's funny, I've seen so many things about this movie being like, whoa, and like, trying to fact check how Frosty. You cannot fact check Hallmark or channeling type Hallmark movies. There's no reason to. Just enjoy the ride and enjoy the warm and fuzzies. But speaking of not only the director, but I think it was just a very good ensemble cast of very funny people. I mean, we had Craig Robinson playing the sheriff who, even sang a custom song for the movie down in Hope Springs. He was so committed to being that sheriff that's like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And just also so sweet. And even after he technically kills the snowman, I still loved him, and I forgave him for it. But I loved his little. I'm wondering, and if I ever have a chance to meet Craig, I'm going to ask him. Did you write the Hope Springs song that you played on the piano?
Oh my God, I would love to know that.
Yeah, because I over the credits they were just kind of riffing, and it seemed like they were just. It was Craig and Joe Lo Truglio. Yes, what a fun name, Joe Lo
Right, yeah.
Truglio.
And I know he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Yeah.
which I didn't watch, but
Um,
I almost want to more now because he
Yeah.
was so delightful
he was
in this.
so delightful.
Yeah.
I really appreciated their dynamic, their chemistry, as well as both of their chemistries with Lacey and Dustin. Because again, it was Lacey constantly just playing the straight man, and everybody else around her is kind of like these kooky characters from a small town. Which what time period was it? I don't know. Cell phones were barely used, so and all the cars were from different eras, so I had no idea
Hey,
what.
I think that timelessness though is going to make this a instant Christmas classic. You know, we'll all be watching this every year for the rest of our lives at Christmas. Hot Frosty.
Well, I can't wait for that. Another cast member I really want to give, Kathy Mixon, who played Dottie the doctor, which
She was great.
she was so adorable, and I remember watching her sitcom back in the day on TV, and she's just a delight to watch, and I want to see her more. I think this is the first time I've seen her since her sitcom, and I really really like her. And I don't know, this was a very quick little cameo if you guys caught it, but Chriselle Strauss from Netflix's own Selling Sunset, who has been an actress before she started selling real estate, had a little cameo in there with her fake daughter who wanted chocolate chip pancakes.
I mean, that did feel a little unnecessary, but if people enjoy it, then, you know,
I
whatever.
enjoyed seeing Chriselle. I'm a Selling Sunset fan here, so you know I love these random cameos like that where you're like, wait, and it's like when you have kind of whether it's the Hallmark kind of canon world or the Netflix canon world, and you throw those fun little things in there. It's like, why not make it some give me some fan service. I'm here for it.
I mean, I'm sure they spent some money on, frankly, like Craig Robinson. I'm sure was not cheap, but his presence really did make it better. And this kind of felt like a upscaled Hallmark movie in a lot of ways, because I mean, it had like a Coldplay song. It had Pretty Woman play.
Yeah.
They had some budget
some music
for some things
budget.
here. Yeah.
They had I think they had more. They put definitely more in their music budget than they did maybe in their set design budget. Can we talk about the nipples on the snowman? Because it looked literally. I was like, did you use the same mold as you used for the nipple suit of the Batman franchise? It looked weird and awkward, and that's not what his nipples look like. So why did we have to make the snowman's nipples look like that? And that is thanks for coming to my TED Talk today about the nipples on the snowman.
I mean, I can't imagine it's easy to sculpt nipples in snow.
You know what? One of these episodes we're gonna have to find some like ice sculptor,
Snow sculptor, yeah,
and we're gonna have to ask them about sculpting nipples in the snow. I don't know. It was very distracting and weird.
If you think that it's important for us to track down this information and find out what goes into sculpting nipples in snow, you can leave that in the comment section. Let us know what you think about that.
Way to throw in a call to action, Dylan. It's like you know how to listen to podcasts or something. But yeah, no, going off of what Dylan says, if there are people you think we should interview on Channeling Hallmark, if there are topics we need to kind of delve into more, movies you want us to review, just let us know in the comments. Oh, a lot of movies I feel like used to do this, but they don't do it nearly as much anymore. Every movie should require bloopers over the credits and original songs. And I get so jealous of my friends who are editors and get to see the dailies, especially on very serious movies, because everybody will chuckle a little bit every time. And it's like, let's remind everybody, everybody's human. We're not just hot snowmen, you know? So
only in our hearts.
Only in our hearts. So I really, really loved that moment at the end. And it was such a nice, again, it was maybe like a hot cocoa moment for the movie of just leaving us with that kind of sweetness.
Yeah. And we got to see the crew. It was, I feel like, I'm trying to remember some other examples of it. I think Spirited did something similar. Like when you can actually get a chance to, like, during the credits, see not just like the performers being goofy, but also actually see the crew that was involved in it. I think it's just a really nice way of seeing all the work that went into something, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think it's like everybody, we both know how close crews get on movies, especially projects that might seem a little sillier to other people. Like if you're like, I'm working on a movie, what is it called? Hot Frosty. What is it about? Oh, it's about a hot snowman that comes to life. Like but you find the joy in it. There's long hours. Things are ridiculous sometimes, but I really appreciate that too. So I appreciate you bringing that up about shouting out the crew, letting us get a behind the curtain look at the crew and letting them get in on the fun over the credits at least.
If you want to watch Hot Frosty, it's available on Netflix, and I think we both recommend it. But Keaton, if people want to know more about your thoughts on Hot Frosty, where should they go?
You guys should go check out our individual letterbox accounts. Dylan's at DB Cashaball. I'm at Keaton M33. And I will tell you this right now, though. Dylan is much more active on his letterbox than I am, but I'm going to be better, I promise, for you guys so that we can really share our opinions of these movies. But overall, I don't know. I think 10 out of 10 marshmallows for my hot cocoa feeling on this. It's not real. It's not real. We're not going to do that. But yeah.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Very fun.
And we're back. So normally in the episodes, we'll interview someone to talk about how they channel Hallmark in their own lives. And since you guys don't know us that well yet, we thought we would interview each other to get things started.
Ooh, very, very fun. So you get to know us a little bit more before you start committing to downloading our podcast once a week. Please, thank you, and rate and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So to kick off our interview, Keaton, just tell us a little bit about you. Who is Keaton Markey?
Oh, wow. That's a really loaded question. My name is Keaton, and I am a television producer. I'm a producer on the Jennifer Hudson Show. Shout out to Jen. She's amazing. But yeah, I love reading fairy smut books. I love watching historical shows. And I love my dogs, Ella and Bindi, and my husband most of the time. So, and I love Pilates. These are the things that bring me joy right now in life. Tell me a little bit about you, Dylan, my love.
My name is Dylan. I work in marketing. I also enjoy spending time with my wife and dogs. We have two wonderful dogs. One's a half husky. One's a poodle, Pomeranian, Chihuahua. I don't even know what she's a bunch. They're both
She's
rescues,
a Muppet.
You know?
She is a real life Muppet.
She is. And we love our rescue dogs, even if we don't really know what they are. What they are is 100% awesome dogs. But I also like to run. I spend a lot of time running off in the mountains. Really like being in nature. What else? Oh, yes. We also scuba dive. That's another thing we like to do. That's another thing about us.
We started about a year ago, and we really enjoy it, even though sometimes it's terrifying. But that's why I do it. Challenge yourself every day. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do something every day that scares you. So every day I scuba dive, I'm like, check.
And I guess another thing to note is Keaton still works in the film industry.
Yes.
I used to work in the film industry, and we've both grown up with a love of movies. And so I think we are people who have always enjoyed talking about movies, seeing them and sharing them with loved ones. And we're really excited to do more of that with you.
Yeah. Can I ask you the first question? Are you ready? Do we think we've explained enough about who we are as people?
I mean, I still don't know who I am really, but yeah,
go
for it.
It changes every day. Okay, so my first question for us to get to know you a little bit better, Dylan, is what is your go-to warm and fuzzy movie?
Okay. I have more than one. Is that okay? Can I share more than one?
I'll allow it.
So there's a couple movies, a couple of movies that are my go-to happy movies, and those are Paddington 1 and 2 and Mamma Mia 1 and 2. Different times call for different situations. Like if I finish work and I know I need to like cook dinner, but I also want to feel the warm and fuzzies, it's Mamma Mia because background music is great. am also, if I'm cutting onions, I'm going to cry anyways. So might as well watch Mamma Mia and cry for that too.
That's a Mamma Mia too, though, because
That's true.
Meryl wrecks us in that
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Ugh.
It's interesting, actually. Mamma Mia 2 and Paddington 2 both have those endings that just make me a mess.
Just gut punch you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Paddington, like, warm, fuzzy bear vibes. He's delightful. Love Paddington. So those are my warm and fuzzy movies. Keaton, what's your one or several warm and fuzzy comfort movies?
I love rom-coms. I'm a huge Now, if we're talking holiday rom-com, obviously Love Actually. We watch it every year. I realize it's problematic in ways, but it's still it's London rom-com, London in Christmas time, which is my favorite time in London. But those rom-coms that just used to be randomly on cable, just playing on like E Network or Lifetime. I'm talking about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, like Princess Diaries, Made in Manhattan, just like the random ones. The Wedding Planner, that's a good one. McConaughey did them right for a while. But yeah, those are kind of my warm and fuzzy movies that you get the good. Oh, The Holiday. Oh, you kill me with The Holiday. But yeah, it's just cheeky. Cheeky is a term that always makes me, if something is cheeky, it makes me warm and fuzzy. And a lot of rom-coms are very cheeky. I think the most recent rom-com that has kind of had that very cheeky vibe was Anyone But You, with Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell this year. And I hope we get more rom-coms like that in the future because they are lovely. So yeah, those are kind of warm and fuzzy movies for me.
I don't remember if I ran this one by you, so we'll see how this goes. Do you have a place that makes you feel like a Hallmark movie makes you feel?
Oh, this is a shout out to my dear friend Jen LaBella, who actually she just opened up a toy store called Birdie's, but it's in Connecticut, and it's I believe called Old Weathersfield. It's like New England, beautiful, historic, like it was like one of the oldest towns there. And the first time I went there, I was like, oh my gosh, I have been transported into a Hallmark movie here. It's what they tried to remake on Backlots, was this street, and it's a real street. So that is a location that makes me feel very warmer. There's a lot of locations I could probably go on. Scotland, for example. It's hard for a place not in Scotland to make me feel that way. London. Yeah. There's so many places, but yeah, that's the first one that came to mind when you asked me that question. What about you, Dylan?
For me, it's kind of, like I said, I really like being outdoors. So it's kind of just being in the woods. Like obviously not all forests. Let's use that word instead of woodses. But not all woodses or forests are equal. But like the older and like the more like kind of varied growth and stuff, the better. Like there was a forest that we walked through in Wales this summer.
I was literally going to say,
like
you better bring that up.
Yeah, it felt like such a like kind of fairy tale place. Not that, fairy tale and Hallmark vibes are the same thing, but it was the kind of place that like I felt just safe and comforted there. It felt like, okay, the world's an okay place because this exists.
That's so funny that you say you felt warm and safe, because I was like, orcs could be around the corner and we have to take the hobbits to Isengard. That's what I felt like when we were in that forest. But, that vibe also makes me feel warm and fuzzy because I love fantasy stuff. So totally get that. Amazing. Is it my turn? Do I get to ask a question
you're
now?
Up next.
Okay. What is your favorite holiday decoration?
I mean, there are many. I will say the one that gives me the most nostalgia and makes me feel like I did when I was a kid at Christmas is literally just like a strand of multicolored Christmas lights. I love I have memories of, as a child, like laying underneath the Christmas tree, making sure that like all the lights in the house were off except for the Christmas tree lights, and just that like kind of glow of a nice multicolored Christmas strand. It's just comforting to me.
Dylan's looking at me right now because he knows this is a point of contention, because I think there's a debate just in the world about multicolored Christmas lights versus just kind of the white twinkly lights. I like white twinkly lights. I don't like the multicolored ones where he loves the multicolored ones. So I don't know. I think it was because when I was a kid, we had my mom's kind of Santa tree, and then we had the kid tree that was kind of chaotic. And my mom's Santa tree was very like only her, like my mom collects Santas. Only her Santa ornaments were allowed to go on it. My mom got to design it every year. And it was kind of in the entryway where the kids' tree was kind of shoved in the back of the house. And it had kind of all of, because we get a new ornament, or when we were kids, we would get new ornaments every year. The ornaments we would make, or basically not the store-bought ones, would kind of just get schlepped on this tree. And I love that tree just as much as I love the Santa tree, but I think there was something I was enamored by with the Santa tree because that felt like the adult tree. And I just couldn't wait until I could have my adult tree. And so I really like white twinkly lights.
Wait, so your answer is white twinkly lights?
No, you know what? I was going to be my answer, but then I remembered my actual favorite Christmas or holiday decoration are pine scented candles.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, like pine, when you walk into a house or to anything and it just smells like a pine forest or a cedar, like it just, ugh. And it's honestly too, if anybody out there reads fantasy books, the hot men in fantasy books always smell like pine or cedar and something else. and I'm like, I know exactly what that is, and I am in, girlfriend. But yes, and I also love lit candles. I love lit candles in a church. I just love real lit candles. I just love the candlelight vibe. So yeah, that's my favorite decoration. Okay, so I'm gonna go again, but we're both gonna answer it. So just to stay on the hot cocoa tea sipping theme, what is your favorite specialty holiday drink? Some might say at Starbucks, but I say really anywhere because a lot of places do these now.
It's true. And I guess I will say we are recording this at Christmas time. I don't know when you're listening to this. Maybe it's June. Who knows? But though we are recording at Christmas time, and a lot of these answers have been Christmas related, for me, mine is much more general fall related because it is the classic pumpkin spice latte. I think it is. I mean, there are many times that things get hype and they don't deserve it. But with the pumpkin spice latte, no, it deserves that hype because it is such a good drink. And I am a either black coffee or the opposite of that. And for me, pumpkin spice latte is the opposite of that. I like ends of the spectrum, and apparently
when he says opposite of black coffee, he means a very unhealthy, fake tasting, sugary, whole milk, warm madness.
I mean, I do generally prefer it with oat milk. Maybe that's healthy, or I don't know. I just like the flavor of oat milk. So yeah, pumpkin spice hot pumpkin spice latte with oat milk is my answer.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, depending on the time of year is my go-to drink will change. But if we're talking about holiday specific fall, Christmassy time, it should be cold because I don't like drinking hot drinks unless it's cold. But I love a gingerbread latte. I just love gingerbread. I love the taste of gingerbread. And I don't want it to be too sweet though. I usually get less pumps of the flavor because I do really like the coffee. Because again, I'm either a black iced tea girl or a black coffee girl. I don't put any cream or sugar in it. Yeah. So I would say a gingerbread latte. And depending on if I'm on some type of diet, I will do different type of milk, but I usually will just do skim milk with a gingerbread latte. Yeah, but I do a double shot of espresso, gingerbread latte, only one pump, grande. Here's my order.
I mean, I feel like, do we feel like our audience knows us pretty well now?
I hope so. I mean, you're going to get to know us. Hopefully you want to continue to get to know us and keep listening, but we will not be interviewing each other every time. We will have other wonderful guests here on the show. And come back and see us or hear us, listen to us.
Yeah. If you like this, please subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think. We're obviously just kind of getting going on this. So we're very open to thoughts, feedback, etc. But you got to share that.
Yeah. We're open to it. We're new and we're also we're trying to keep this fun for us because we're in a marriage, and it's important. It's important that when you start projects together to always have a goal in mind, and that should be not divorcing because we get upset with each other.
Wait, I thought our goal was world domination. Is that
Okay,
not your plan?
domination. That just reminds me of Bring It On, another warm and fuzzy movie for me. Anyways, but yes, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Channeling Hallmark. We hope to have you back every week, and follow us on the socials at Channeling Hallmark.
We are on Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. So if you want more Channeling Hallmark content, check us out there. And if not, well, I'm sorry.
We hope you keep channeling Hallmark throughout the week. But until next time, bye-bye.
Channeling Hallmark is an independently produced podcast and is neither sponsored nor sanctioned by Hallmark or any other entity. Thank you for listening.